Hi, this is Eric Guido. I'm currently in Montalcino. Actually, I'm standing right outside the walls of Castelnuovo dell'Abate. This is actually one of my favorite locations to really show people the drastic difference in terroir from the north to the south. So here we have Mount Amiata right behind me. And then further down, we have the Orcha River. So the Orcha River right now is actually much fuller than normal. They had a very wet season here at the end of 2024. Typically, it's much drier. And then off in the distance, in this direction, we have the sea. So you have these three confluences of different things that are creating this really unique terroir here, which is really interesting. I'm currently standing at about 340 meters, but then it'll go down as far as 200 meters. So it's important to keep in mind that many producers in this region are making wines particularly from Castelnuovo dell'Abate, such as Occhiara, Poggio di Sotto, Stella di Campalto, but many producers in the north actually have vineyards here to balance the fruit that they get from those northern areas. I'm here primarily tasting 2020s and 2019s. 2020s, warm vintage, interesting wines. I can certainly say now I've tasted probably about 150 wines on this trip alone, and I've been tasting them since they were originally put into barrel. And I can say that early observations is that there's a disparity between the absolute best producers and the ones that didn't necessarily hit the mark. So there's not quite as much in the middle that you might expect from a typical good vintage. So at this time, I'm not saying that anyone should definitely think about skipping 2020 because there are some fantastic wines that were made from this vintage. It's just that when you get into that mid-range, there's a lot less selection. So it's going to be definitely a year to look to the producer before the vintage itself. Other things taking place here right now is there's been a whole new way of looking at the rating system here in Montalcino. For years, it was this 5-star system that didn't necessarily tell people the actual quality of the vintage. The problem with the 5-star system was that the stars would be assigned right after the vintage was finished, basically February of the next year. The wines had maybe just completed fermentation. People were assessing more the weather conditions than they were the wines themselves. And a lot can happen in the 3 to 4 years as a wine comes around and comes to that point where it can be ready to be released. So the 5-star system has now been done away with in favor of basically an analysis of the vintage itself that takes place when the wines are actually ready. It'll be performed by a panel of sommeliers that will look at the vintage conditions, taste the wines that have now been completed, and basically submit as a report of all of the analytical data as well as the ideas that they have about the vintage itself. It should be really interesting to see how this comes along, but to be clear, there will be no longer a rating system here in Montalcino. They're going to leave that to the journalists to basically tell consumers, is it a good vintage? Where does it fit in the scale of past vintages? Another thing that's happening here is the Rosso category has been modified, and this is a really exciting thing that's taking place. Basically, producers are now allowed to use IGT vineyards that were planted, obviously at Sangiovese, to be used to make Rosso di Montalcino, allowing them to basically make more Rosso di Montalcino throughout the region without affecting their Brunello production. In other words, they won't have to declassify Brunello to make Rosso. This is a big boom for producers because at this time, we've seen many vintages where Rosso can actually outperform Brunello for some producers. And so this will be a really big help as we have these ups and downs that have been created by global warming and climate change. Should be really interesting to see how this comes about, but it certainly can't hurt. And one other thing, which might be a little early to talk about, but it's definitely in the pipeline, is there is a map that's being worked on for Montalcino, something that people have wanted for a very long time. The old map, it was very elementary. It was very hard to figure out where wineries were and how different the terrain was from place to place. I've talked about this a lot. Now, granted, I personally would love to see a breaking down of subzones. They're not there yet. But the fact that they're working on improving this map and giving consumers and journalists something new to basically dig in deeper into the region certainly can hurt. So basically, I'm going to get back to tasting. Like I said, 2020, interesting vintage. Definitely some very high highs, but some very low lows. And then also You got those 2019 Reservas that everyone's been looking forward to. Till next time.